All right, now I'm going to do the core, which in this case is blue. Here's going to be yellow. You might have to play around with this a little bit. You want it to be the same height. You also want it to be, but we can trim that later, but you want it to be the right diameter so that they fit nicely around. And I actually guessed pretty good right there. This clay is so squishy. I keep saying that, but it is. So this is not going to be a perfect cane. It's just too soft. So, but these ends line up, and we can trim these here to match. Close enough. So basically that's the pretty end. We'll look at that end. Now again, this is totally distorted because my clay is super, super soft right now. Normally it wouldn't have that much distortion when you cut. But that's a good lesson on why you need to let your canes rest. That shouldn't happen if it's really soft. You can put them in the refrigerator. All right, now we're going to wrap it. Now the goal is to have as few gaps as possible, and you can see that I do have gaps in there. So anywhere you have gaps, that's going to be a place you can have distortion. But my clay is stuck together, so I can't really do much about it right now. All right. Now, you can just wrap it, just like we wrapped all the other components, but that will leave these gaps. And that's okay. It'll just be a slightly different look to the cane if you allow this outer border to sink in there. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually fill that in just a little bit. And I'm going to do that by just making tiny snakes. And that's kind of a triangular space, so I'm going to pinch and lay it in there. And it just kind of, takes away some of those gaps that could cause us problems at the end. And you can do that for all of them. You really pack it tight. You can just add a little bit so that it helps it support the outer border. Again, you would take more care and work in a cooler condition if this is going to be your bestest cane ever. But I'm just helping it fill in those gaps a little bit. All right, now I'm going to do the exact same thing I've been doing. I'm going to cut an edge, going to cut that edge, line this up, cut this. I'm going to hope that's enough, and if not, I'll show you exactly what to do if it's not. Like all our other wraps, we're going to wrap it. And look at that, it's not. So what do? Just cut more clay. I actually have to roll this through the pasta machine. And just like you're butting up the edges on other ones, you could just line it up here and fill in that gap, and you're good to go. So you can pretend I did that. Look at that side. And this is what, when you do the full wrap, that's what it'll look like. All right, one more real super quick cane, and it is the checkerboard. This is a very useful one. You can do this on a much larger scale. I'm just going to do a tiny little one for you here. Take two colors of clay, and this is on my thickest setting again, my pasta machine number 1. You layer them up and cut it in half, and layer those. And this is going to be impossible to really do well in the heat, but normally I would cut it down like that, but that's going to have a little bit of distortion, so I'm going to try and do it this way and see if I can minimize it. But basically you want to cut slices about the same thickness of each layer, so pretty thin slices. Now that's going to get squishy no matter what. we'll just try. So if you don't let a cane rest and if your clay is too warm, that's exactly what's going to happen. The top layer is smearing down onto the other layers. But if you're with me so far, you got a great imagination in this particular cane, so we'll be fine. We'll look at the ends instead of the sides that I just squished. So you're going to take these slices and flip them. And line up the rows so it's checkerboard. You don't just want to line up this end. Make sure you line up that end too. And chances are pretty good if you have both ends lined up, you got the middle lined up too. And you're going to add the next one. Check the other end. And finally, there you go. This little checkerboard cane. So, those are number 3 and 4 of our very, very, very basic canes. I'm going to take another little break and cool down some of these canes and show you how to reduce, and then what to do once you've made these canes, how to use them as beads. So we'll be right back with that.